A very good morning to all our Sports Today family members. And we all thought that the Asia Cup scheduling hassles has all been sorted. Everything is hunky-dory, isn't it? But as we have always seen, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, when it comes to India versus Pakistan and India and Pakistan relationships, nothing can be said with certainty. That is one of the things which is there in this edition of the Morning where I am going to talk to you about the latest complication that Pakistan has once again gotten when it comes to their participation in the World Cup. But before I talk about Pakistan's participation in the World Cup, we are building up also to the squad announcement for the West Indies tour as well. Will there be wholesale changes? Will the selectors take some tough decisions? Apparently not. Because there seems to be a lot of problems when it comes to Cheteshwar Pujara's place, whether Rohit Sharma is going to miss some games, whether some of the senior members are going to be rested for some of the games. There is a lot of confusion and there is no official communication yet from the BCCI. However, if reports and the BCCI sources are to be believed, Cheteshwar Pujara is set to get an extended run and he will play the West Indies tests. The reasoning that has been given is that since this is the first test series of the cycle and that there will be no further tests for the next 5 months, they don't want to make wholesale changes starting. If wholesale changes are made now, the rebuilding process will take a lot more time. So they would want to phase out people in a certain manner. So Cheteshwar Pujara, Ajinkya Rahane are all going to play in the West Indies tests if reports are to be believed. However, the report also stresses that Yashasvi Jaiswal and Rituraj Gaikwad are in the scheme for the Indian cricket team. But they will have to wait because the BCCI and the team management are believed to have not been so keen on making wholesale changes, get in new blood immediately. If you want to revamp the test team, it has to happen in the West Indies series. Many don't believe it is the case. They will want to probably play this series out and then make big changes or tough decisions for India's tour to South Africa in December, January. Remember, India would be wanting to win in South Africa. They have not yet won a series there. That's the only country where they have not won a test series there. So, lot of changes are expected in the South Africa tour, less so in the West Indies tour. So, despite the disappointment of the World Test Championship final and despite the disappointment of the 2-year cycle where some of the players did not average in the high 35s, 40s, they will be persisted with for the West Indies tour. Remember, 2 tests starting from July 12th onwards, followed by 3 ODIs and 5 T20Is. That is the way we are looking at it. So, not many changes expected, but many changes could come for the South Africa tour, not for the West Indies tour. Now, let us come to the major issue that is dominating headlines today. Nothing surprising about it because when it comes to India and Pakistan, things have to be complicated. If you want to put it up in a Facebook status, what is a relationship status between India and Pakistan? It's complicated. Because what is the current situation now? PCB chairman Najam Sethi has said that, okay, we might have to come to India for the World Cup, but we need government approval. Now, that is the situation that is persistent in both the countries. If India has to go to Pakistan, if Pakistan have to come to India, they need government approval to play in their respective countries. Because remember, ever since 2008, the situation has been at an all-time low for India and Pakistan. It's gotten worsened by the attacks on 2016 in Uri and the 2019 attack in Pulwama. Now, Pakistan are slated to play games in Ahmedabad, Hyderabad, Chennai, Kolkata. That is the current situation that is there as far as the tentative draft is concerned in the 2023 World Cup. Ahmedabad is slated to host the India versus Pakistan match on October 15th. Chennai, Hyderabad are the other games where, other venues where potentially Pakistan can play. But on the other hand, the security situation, They can cite a force majeure saying that, okay, we don't feel secure here, the security is going to be very tough for us, Pakistan government will not allow us, then we cannot go. That presents a very complicated situation at this point in time. Because remember, the entire situation has been complicated ever since the Asia Cup standoff. Jai Shah, the BCCI secretary and the head of the ACC had unilaterally made a statement that, okay, we cannot go to Pakistan because of the security situation, the government will not allow us. Now, there was a lot of dragging around and the PCB had dug in its heels that they want a hybrid model, no neutral venue. So, the hybrid model, after 5 months of bickering, was finally agreed upon, and 9 matches will be in Sri Lanka, 4 matches will be in Pakistan. Pakistan will be the hosts, and that is the reason why India were on shaky ground anyways, because when the hybrid model was proposed, then India could not back out of it, because there was no legitimate grouse in that sense. Neutral venues, logistics would have been a problem, because everywhere in Asia, if you look at it, September, August, it is very hot. Monsoon is in effect in some places, so you couldn't play all the games there. So, that is the reason why the hybrid model was accepted. India will play their games in Sri Lanka, Pakistan will play 4 games in Pakistan. That is the situation we have at this point in time. Now, if you have to look at it in this World Cup, government approval is necessary, because if Pakistan's government does not allow the team to come, they cannot come. Now, the ball is in the Pakistan government's court, whether they allow the team and give them the visas to come to India or they do not. That is the situation. But if Pakistan don't come, it will be a major, major embarrassment, because if they cannot provide security for a sporting team, then we are in big, big trouble. The Ashes, day 1, 407 runs have been scored, 393 by England alone and 14 runs by Australia in 4 overs. But 393 in 78 overs, 4.8 runs per over. Root reverse scooping Scott Boland, the Scott Boland who managed to trouble India's batters at the Oval for 6. Joe Root scored his first Ashes century in 8 years. The last time he had hit a century, it was in 2015. But in Edgbaston, we saw how England, in their own crazy way, are revolutionizing the game. 393 runs. And they declared 8 down because they wanted a crack at the Australians. But did they declare too prematurely? Because remember, the pitch is just on day 2. Yes, it may worsen up under the sun. It will assist spin much more. And that is why you will see today, Australia may want to bat. England's decision may just backfire, but looking at the way how England's bowlers have stepped up in the past, maybe this is another crazy way of putting their opponents off. Australia though might not be put off. So remember, 407 runs in just 1 day, crazy stuff. England are aiding Test cricket in a big, big way with these kind of innovative stuff. Do you blame them that they are now the most entertaining team in the world? Baseball, Brendan McCullum, surely somewhere in their heads, either they are crazy or they are brilliant. So, the game on day 1, Ashes day 1, saw England kind of dominate and bounce back, with Root scoring a 30th century. Remember, he is now only 3 behind Alistair Cook, 1 behind Steve Smith, and he is 2 ahead of Kane Williamson and Virat Kohli. Faf du Plessis back for the Super Kings. Hold on. No Chennai Super Kings here, please. Faf du Plessis is playing for Royal Challengers Bangalore. RCB fans, don't come at me. Faf du Plessis is going to captain the Texas Super Kings. The Chennai Super Kings made that announcement in their official Twitter handle. In the MLC, Faf du Plessis along with Ambati Rayudu, Devon Conway, Mitchell Santner, even Dwayne Bravo to that extent. It's a CSK reunion in TSK. So, Texas Super Kings will be captained by Faf du Plessis. And remember, he seems to be having a wonderful thing when it comes to the yellow franchisee. Johannesburg Super Kings, he was there. Texas Super Kings, although for the IPL, he is playing for Royal Challengers Bangalore. Chennai Super Kings made a big, big blunder by not going hard at him for the auction. Manchester City are still reveling when it comes to their treble success. They joined Manchester United as the only other Premier League club to have done it. But now, Ilkay Gundogan, the man who has given them so much glory in the past couple of years, his contract is expiring next month. And there are reports that City might not want to renew his contract. Now, that is a big jolt if that happens, because remember, Gundogan helped them win the previous year's Premier League, and here, even in the Champions League, he was at his absolute best here. When it came to big game tournaments, Ilkay Gundogan really stepped up his A game for Manchester City. But with this contract expiring next month, is it going to go for renewal? Are Manchester City not going to renew it? It is a big thing. So, we'll be keeping a close eye on what happens with Gundogan in that sense. The compound archery team, when it comes to the men and the women, they are really doing a fantastic job in archery. Remember, the third stage of the World Cup in archery is happening in Medellin in Colombia. Now, in that, Jyoti Sureka Vendam and the team have won the bronze medal. The men's team have also secured the bronze medal. So, when it comes to World Cup stages, the Indian men and women's archery team are really doing well when it comes to medals. So, a bronze medal in the World Cup stage 3, remember this is just stage 3, there is one more stage followed by the World Cup final that will be held somewhere in 2024 in January potentially. So, the archery team is really shaping up well for the Olympics. One hopes that they can really do well in that sense. The Canadian Grand Prix might be happening at this time. In free practice session, you saw rain disrupt proceedings and Lewis Hamilton was in charge. Max Verstappen was also putting in a good thing. But Max Verstappen might be in some kind of trouble off the track, because remember, recently he was bestowed with Netherlands' highest civilian honors, one of the highest civilian honors that the country has, because he's a two-time Formula 1 champion from the Netherlands. Netherlands hasn't produced that much of success when it comes to Formula 1, but Max Verstappen is changing all that. Now, when he got that highest civilian order, many people were not very happy with that, because Max Verstappen is currently staying in Monaco. Now, Monaco is a place where you don't have to pay taxes. If he was staying in Netherlands, he would have had to pay 50% of taxes. Now, because of that 50% that he's not paying in the Netherlands, many people are questioning, if he's not staying in the Netherlands, why bestow him that honor? So, there is a big debate going on about Max Verstappen, whether he really deserves a high civilian order award. So, it's a very important development that is happening for him. Now, the other notable mention, unfortunately, is that in the Squash World Cup, you saw India lose 3-0 to Malaysia, and that is why now they will now go into the 3rd, 4th place playoffs. And it was kind of sad, because India have never won the Squash World Cup ever since it started in 1996. 27 years on, India still are searching for that elusive title, which will ensure that they are amongst the world's elite at this time. So, Malaysia and Egypt, so India will take on one of the nations there, in that they lost 3-0 to Malaysia, which was indeed a very sad side indeed. We hope that Indian squash can recover and put in some great performances heading into not just the Olympics, but also the Asian Games that happens. Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this edition of the Morning Wrap. We'll be back with more updates on sports today. Tap that bell icon so you know when we go live, and don't forget we're on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well. Thank you.